Hey everybody, this is Craig Cottle, the Director of Nature Reliance School, and today we're going to be talking about the tale of two guns.
The inside of each of
waiting on word from city or state officials to see what's going on, what they can tell us.
First and foremost, I don't think it's any secret that I utilize a Glock 19 for the use of self-defense. Fortunately, I've never had to employ it for the use of self-defense, and I hope I never have to. I would like to have the proper training. I enjoy the training and use of it with the sincere hope and prayer that I never actually have to utilize it, okay? But with that said, this is a Glock 19, and you'll notice, if I bring them up real close, that what we have here is in essence an exact replica, but hey, it's red. So what do we got going on here? So let's talk about that for a moment. So what we have is we have a training weapon here. So with this training weapon, I have in essence an exact replica even to the weight of the weapon that I carry. And so what I can do with this weapon is train with it and do a lot of things with it so that I don't have to necessarily have in my holster or in my hand an actual loaded gun, okay? But I get to train with what feels like a loaded gun, and that is important to proper self-defense training so that you're utilizing both your weapon for your usefulness as well as your hand-to-hand tactics for your usefulness. So with that said, finding a good red gun is not necessarily cheap, but I recommend doing it over getting just a cheap toy gun that you might get at a toy store, okay? Because basically what you have here is you have all the exact components of your weapon. It's not a functioning weapon, meaning that the slide doesn't work on this weapon, but in essence the grip is the same, the trigger well is the same, the magazine, although the magazine doesn't come out, the magazine feels the same. Everything is exactly the same as my weapon of choice, and I can train with this without the danger of putting a loaded weapon on somebody. So with that said, there can be a lot of debate, and you'll see this because I've seen some posts on social media of things that I just think, quite frankly, are ludicrous, and that is training with an actual weapon in the midst of your hand-to-hand training. What I mean by that is that if you draw your weapon, and this is me as a civilian, right? If I draw my weapon, I'm not going to be drawing and utilizing it as a threat device. I'm a civilian. A law enforcement officer, a little different. Law enforcement officer draws his weapon to pull it out and utilize it. He is oftentimes can utilize it and probably should utilize it as a threat usefulness, which is basically goes along the continuum of shout, which you talk to somebody, and I got this from Rodney Van Zant. You shout, shout, shove, show, and shoot. And so basically you, hey, stop, you make sure that you have distance, then you show them the weapon, and then you shoot the weapon. So for me as a civilian, basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw my weapon and shoot. So as far as training is concerned, there's a lot of value in dry fire training with my weapon so I can actually get used to the trigger pull. I will not get that on this weapon, but I will get the usefulness and the feel of it. And so I can utilize this as getting through my draw stroke so I can get a good draw stroke out and I don't have to actually utilize my actual weapon, and I get a lot of useful training out of it. So with that said, again, I recommend that you find a qualified instructor to teach you the proper storage, maintenance, and usefulness of a weapon of actual use. This is a red gun training weapon, but if you're interested in tactical training, then there's a lot of instructors out there. Contact us and we can get you in contact with them. There's some guys that we've trained with. Obviously Rodney Van Zant at Iron Sight Defense. I've trained with Aaron Little at Performance Edge, who's an instructor with Tactical Response. I've trained with Tactical Response. And a couple others, so not major note, but a couple others too. So with that said, find a qualified instructor like that to teach you how to function this weapon properly, and we'll look at some beginner basics here with this channel. So come on, join in and let's learn together.
the inside of each of these motorized vehicles seem to fit.
Waiting on word from city or state officials to see what's going on, what they can tell us